Greg Draper, disappointing 3-3 against Aberystwyth Town.
Yeah, it was. Like, I think when you're 3-0 up, and you end up drawing the game 3-0, it feels like a loss. Looking back, we played so well. I've watched the game back. We played so well for the first hour. Potentially could have been 4 or 5-0 up. Missed a couple of chances, but when you're 3-0 up, you expect to sort of see out the game. So yeah, disappointing to only come away with a point, but on reflection, I think how well we played for that first hour certainly should give us a lot of confidence, and it's just a case of stretching that 60 minutes into sort of 80, 90 minutes, and then we win that game comfortably. So look, yeah, we're moving in the right direction. It's disappointing, but these things happen. It's just a case of learning and making sure it doesn't happen again when we find ourselves in that position.
And as you say there, Greg, moving in the right direction. This time last year, a draw against Aberystwyth Town on the road would have been a massive result.
Yeah, no, listen, it's and that's what I said, 12 months ago. You look at some of the results we've had this year, especially against the top sides, where we've gone a goal or two down, but managed to fight our way back in and make sure the game went to 90 minutes. Potentially we go on and suffer a heavy loss 12 months ago, whereas now we're in a position to we're competing for 90 minutes and we're scraping away, we're battling, and like I say, we're just everything on the pitch, off the pitch is moving forwards. So yeah, we just got to stay patient, and things will turn in our favour.
And there is a game this coming Sunday at home to Abergavenny. They're bottom of the table, just 1 point so far. Certainly, as far as the table's concerned, this is a winnable game for the New Saints. Yeah, definitely. Obviously, we went away from home towards the start of the season and beat them 4-2. Again, potentially that could have been a little bit more convincing. Gave a couple of soft goals away. When the game was sort of done and dusted, really. So, I guess that was the only disappointment from that game. But we're scoring 4 goals away from home against a tricky team. So we'll fancy ourselves at home. But then we won't be taking anything for granted at the same time. As they've obviously got their first point, so that will give them a little bit of confidence, I guess. So they'll be coming here and wanting to sort of prove themselves, and I guess they'll be seeing this as a game where they can get some points. So we'll be making sure that we do everything properly like we do every week, and fingers crossed the result will take care of itself. And we're currently in a very difficult spell as far as the weather's concerned. How's that affecting on the pitch preparations? Yeah, so obviously we didn't have a game on Sunday anyway, with it being the cup game that we got knocked out of. I think potentially if there was a game, it probably would have struggled to go ahead anyway. Obviously there was a lot of cancellations over the weekend, so I think we're probably in the same position as a lot of the other clubs. Training wise, yeah, we're sort of struggling. We're definitely going to get in at least one session this week. We'd have liked to get in 2, but I think we're going to lose 1 tonight, potentially to the weather. So we'll make sure that we get at least 1 in, whether that's outside or if not, we'll be indoors somewhere, and getting as much prep in as we can. But yeah, I guess it just gives us, there's nothing wrong with a little bit of rest here and there. So we'll be fresh for Sunday, and fingers crossed the weather holds off and the game can go ahead and we can finish with a nice 3 points before Christmas. And off the pitch, how are things going? Yeah, really well. We're obviously coming up to the transfer window, so we're sort of looking at players. We're 90% confident that players will be coming in January. Just a strength from the squad. Injury-wise, everyone's looking all right. Obviously, just a long-term injury to Georgia, still keeping her out. Unfortunately, that's sort of niggling away for a little bit longer than we were hoping. But yeah, it's I think everyone's sort of looking forward to Sunday, really having a couple of quiet weeks, and not much training due to the weather. So everyone's sort of itching and hoping that the game's on Sunday. So we just got to see what happens, I guess. This will be the final game of the year, as you say. You've taken the reins of the women's side quite recently. Your legendary status as a footballer at Park Hall is without question. Of course, being involved in coaching for a while, Greg. As you look back now and reflect over the transition from a player in the men's side to the manager of the women's, how do you reflect on all of that? How's that going for you? Yeah, I think it's going really well. It's been an eye-opener, don't get me wrong. There's, the coaching side of things is completely different to the management side of things, especially, whilst we're still on the lookout for a replacement for Andy. So I've sort of taken on a lot more responsibility than I guess,
one person normally would. But loved every minute of it. It's loving the pressure of being responsible for everything really. Got a great group of players that are sort of buying into everything that we're doing, everything that I'm doing, everything that the club wants to do. They're fully aware that the club want to keep moving forwards. I want to keep moving forwards, and the group of players that we've got are ambitious. It's been. I think it's gone as smoothly as it could do. Obviously there's. Looking back, there's a few things that I sort of reflected on, and certainly the Aberystwyth game. When we were 3-0 up, I sort of looked back and beat myself up a little bit. There's certainly things that I'd do differently next time. Just tweak the formation a little bit and made a couple of little changes just to sort of make us a little bit better. Managing the game out and making sure that we came away with 3 points. So I'm still learning. The players are still learning. So like I say, as long as we keep learning from the mistakes that we do make, then that's all that we can ask really.
And although there's no game for the girls until the new year, is it true to say that you will still be busy working away behind the scenes, especially with the transfer window due to open shortly?
Yeah, so that's obviously a big priority, is to bring in a couple of players in January just to, like I say, add some depth. And I think we've spoken over the last few games really about how strong the squad's getting now with certain players coming back, and we want to, like I say, we just want to keep moving in the right direction. You only do that by sort of progressing and developing every part of the club, every part of the team. So it's something that we're looking at. We'll just be sort of looking at players, watching players, looking at who's available. But also, we'll keep training hard as well. We'll get the game out of the way on Sunday. We'll have at least one session again next week before Christmas, and then we'll be back in the week after, because we play Ponty straight after New Year's on the 8th, I think it is. So there really won't be too much time off really without training. So it will be ticking along as normal really.
And finally, what is the general availability of the girls for the game this coming Sunday?
Yes, so we're fully available. Unfortunately, Emily Ridge is unavailable, but apart from that, everyone will be available. So, full squad to pick from. We're in a good position. And fingers crossed, we'll look forward to Sunday.